Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Audrey, and today I'm playing Sherlock Holmes, The Awakened. This is a remake of the 2007 version, and apparently we're going to be investigating some weird events related to the Cthulhu mythology. It's my first time playing this. I only played a few minutes on PC, but my textures were really weird for some reason, so I decided to switch to PS5, and let's check it out. Sherlock is afraid of water? Chapter 1: The Shadow over London.
Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
Ooh, okay. Look at that. He looks very young.
This mess is getting out of hand. What will the landlady think?
What happened here? He has a telescope? Who is he looking at? Who is he spying on? Let's not step on the violin. Hold X to inspect. Tensions between England and Sweden are running high after a series of unfortunate mishaps during a recent visit to London by Swedish Princess AUDREY. Chief among the scandals was the embarrassment of the British diplomatic corps as a result of the unexplained disappearance of Princess AUDREY's personal bodyguard. The long-time member of her inner circle took the opportunity to explore London while off duty and never returned from his late-night promenade. A spokesman for the police assures the advertiser that they are confident the bodyguard will be located, as he is a striking representative of the Scandinavian people. A man like that gets noticed, whether by his peers, at the gentlemen's clubs, or the fair nightingales who comfort them.
Local gossip, all of it
So he was a pretty boy, huh? Look at the dinner. That looks vile. What is that?
Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
The Strand is missing. Did I pick up everything? I think so. What is that? Pills? Okay, so this is my notebook. So the Strand is missing. I can pin evidence. Among her morning deliveries is a book for Watson. It was from Mr. Barnes, the bookseller, who prefers to do the deliveries himself, and the London Advertiser. Oh, okay. What should we wear? That's a funny outfit. That looks nice. Let's go with this one. Huh. So that's the typical Sherlock Holmes hat. Sure, let's go with this one. Some glasses. Oh. That's a very feathery beard. Let's go with that. No. And I can dress Watson too? Oh. Let's go with that. Okay. Pawn shop? Okay, let's check the dustbin. What is that?
A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool.
Huh. There's an old chicken. Is there something else?
You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
So what did we find? Cactus spine potentially poisoned, but we don't know. The missing copy of the Strand was in the bin with the cactus spine stuck in a sheet. Such spines are very tricky to remove once embedded in the skin, making it the perfect assassination tool if dosed with poison. Okay. Or the person was just really into gardening.
Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you? Okay, perhaps from Cordona.
Cordona?
Get the Strand! Get your copy of the Strand here! Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Come
Lost.
on.
Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
What were today's... Well, what happened to my
You're a
newspaper?
bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson,
Cool, now I can take the day off.
What did he do to the paper? Tell me about the man. Where was he headed? What did he do to the paper?
did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Tell me about the man at our doorstep.
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive. Hence the appeal of disguises.
Where was he headed?
Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears. If you have more shillings.
We'll see about that. Newsboy
Get the
testimony.
Strand. Get...
So I got the strand is missing. What is that? Who ruined the strand? Cactus spine, potentially poisoned. So I can pin evidence. Huh. So I can only pin the cactus spine or the book from Barnes. Watson brought in the morning's post, but the strand is missing. He disposed of it before entering the building because the pages were soiled. And in each chapter, questions will arise in the course of your investigation. Questions are shown in the Mind Palace. Okay, so that's the Mind Palace. Answer all questions to progress to the next chapter. This icon on HUD notifies you when there is a new question to answer in Mind Palace or when you have enough evidence to answer one question. After selecting a question, try to answer it by linking relevant evidence. All evidence is broken into 3 categories. Each category appears on a different screen. Okay. Evidence can be pinned. Wow, that's a lot of information. Documents and testimonies. There's the newsboy testimony. And we have... But that doesn't really tell us anything. The young newspaper seller didn't see much. He noticed a suspicious man approaching the house and then heard a loud noise. He said that the man was kneeling at her doorstep afterwards, but the newsboy lost sight of him due to his customers. He was carrying a stack of books. Maybe it was Mr. Barnes. So if we pin this... What happens if we put the cactus spine? Okay. Okay. Mr. Barnes is involved in the scheme. The newsboy said the suspicious man was carrying a stack of books, and this morning Mr. Barnes, the local bookseller, delivered a novel for Dr. Watson. A cactus spine for assassination, a loud bang, a visit to Mr. Barnes is in order. Very bizarre. Okay. And then we can pin this. Attached to the book is Barnes' business card, which includes the address of his store just around the corner.
Come now, Mr. Holmes. Murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his...
To evidence updated.
Not every pawn knows it's part of a game.
Should I move?
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
I think that's better.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
You can pin evidence for quick access to the information from your casebook. Open the casebook.
Get the
Pin
Strand.
the evidence with a
Get your
bookshop
copy of the
photo.
Strand here.
Try to find the bookshop. Okay, so we pinned evidence already. Can he run? That's a creepy poster.
Can I ask you a question?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
Never heard of what?
May I ask you something?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
Okay. Lock and key shop. Barnes bookshop. Can I speak to everyone?
Can I ask you a question? Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Okay. Okay, so it's right there. But what's that? Okay. So I'm supposed to sprint. Okay. I just want to explore a bit. What are you doing, sir?
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
It is a shame I can't answer your question.
So, this is Barnes Bookshop.
How about that Vogel fellow? He seems rather obsessed with you. Would he do something like this?
Observe? Huh. That's not invasive. Bags under eyes, the effects of overwork. What else? His crooked finger? His finger's black. Ink? Those are very dirty hands, sir. Uh-huh. Okay, so it's kind of glowing. Leans heavily on his right leg, sore left leg. High heels, want to look taller. Well, Mr. Barnes has developed a limp and has large bags under his eyes, the result of long hours of intense work. He's not very confident and tries to appear taller by wearing high heels. It seems unlikely that this person would be involved in a murder plot, even if the ink on his hand suggests he's the one who soiled the newspaper. I mean, if he was carrying it. Nevertheless, Mr. Barnes could still be a pawn in a bigger plan without his knowledge. True. Blackmail. Wait, we have... We have to choose a theory if he's a workaholic or a blackmail victim. Mr. Barnes is being threatened by someone and might be involved in a plot against me. Or a workaholic. I mean, we don't have enough information to pin him as a blackmail victim. So I would just say workaholic. Character portrait. Mr. Barnes. Mr. Barnes has developed a limp and has large bags. Okay.
Mr. Barnes, a word.
Oh.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please...
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
Really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
He's scared.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're
Investigation
asking the
scene
right
found.
questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out.
Press L1 to highlight interactive areas in the environment around you. Okay. So, Mr. Barnes is involved in the scheme. Why is Mr. Barnes acting so strangely? Let's gather evidence first. I don't know why there's an icon over that head, but let's pin this. Mr. Barnes is involved in this scheme. Okay. What is that?
The ladder is broken recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
Maybe that's why he has a sore leg. Oh my gosh. What a tiny dog.
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy? I could hardly imagine anything more macabre.
What is that? An explosion?
Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby.
Exotic Plants Catalog. A catalog of exotic plants on Barnes' counter. The name of the catalog reads Everlasting Plants for an Everlasting Love. Okay. 21 out of 50. Is that... Are these clues for chapter 1?
In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is. An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible.
Well, it's pretty.
The finest view London has to offer.
Okay, we got a few things. Exotic plants, cryptology books, and Barnes' broken ladder. Should I pin this instead of this? There's a bouquet of dead flowers in the window. It is placed on an improvised stand. It seems that Mr. Barnes wants to make sure that his flowers are clearly visible. Mycroft's agents use similar signals to communicate with each other. So let's pin this instead. So I guess when I'm pinning, it's kind of my focus.
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
Is there anything else I can investigate in here? I don't think so. Ah!
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
Okay. I will.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them.
A cactus.
Familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin?
Oh, did I miss something? A
It is
crack?
damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something.
Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
Well, now that you mention it, wearing makeup for beauty or concealment. Very bizarre. Avoids eye contact or distracted. Luxury fabric, unusual for work attire. What am I looking at? Mourning brooch, honoring deceased husband. Clean boots, change shoes upon arrival. Miss Fleming wears a mourning brooch in memory of her late husband. Her dress is made from an expensive fabric that is not suitable for work. Her shoes show no trace of mud. She must have changed them when she arrived. Her eyes constantly dart around the street, seemingly in search for something. Perhaps she's waiting for someone? While Miss Fleming cherishes the memory of her departed husband, she's trying to move on as suggested by her makeup and nice outfit. Perhaps she is dressing to attract someone's attention, or simply because she has learned to love herself again. Aw. Or she's still grieving. Mr. Fleming uses makeup to hide her tear-stained cheeks. Her dress is made from an expensive fabric that is not suitable for outside work. Her shoes show no trace of mud. She must have changed them when she arrived. While she tries to bury her grief by dressing extravagantly, she still wears a mourning brooch in memory of her late husband. Her gaze reveals her emotional detachment. Taken as a whole, one must conclude that Miss Fleming is still reeling from her tragic loss. Do these have any impact? Because it's just my theory. I mean, she looks ready to move on. She's dressed nice. She's being respectful of the memory of her husband. She has nice makeup on. I think she's ready to move on. Miss Fleming wears a mourning brooch. Sure.
Mrs. Fleming, you look particularly lovely today. Is there a reason?
Does a woman
Who
need
says
a reason
that?
to look or feel?
Exactly.
No, but your distant look suggests you seek one man's gaze in particular.
Who told you that?
Nobody. Merely a keen eye and some simple deduction.
Well, I'll kindly ask you to keep your keen eye to yourself, Mr. Holmes.
I'll be off.
For evidence updated. Okay, so some of them have a dialogue option. Can I... Okay. So this is the search a location. We have talked to the case participant. Oh, so it tells you when to pin this evidence. Okay. So maybe I can ask her about the dead flowers on display?
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right.
Okay. Can I ask her about herself?
I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
Okay, so she tells
One
you.
of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove. And the sap is often toxic.
And
That's a
rosemary
weird
can
question
give you
to ask.
tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless. Though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break.
Roses for
Are
sale?
you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
Well, you seem like the right person. Exotic plants
I don't know
catalog.
anything about this, sorry.
Okay.
Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just
Probably
a flower
not.
seller. I don't know anything about this, sorry.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes, no, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
Huh.
Hello there. What's your name?
Lily, I know, not very original.
Cactus in a cracked pot. Miss Fleming claims she doesn't know how the cactus appeared on her display. Huh. So she doesn't usually sell those? She went for a break, and when she came back, it was there. Miss Fleming says she knows nothing about the dead flowers, but hopes the bouquet is for her. And... they never speak to each other, but they're exchanging glances here and there because they both have dogs. Oh, I can sort them? Interesting. Why is Barnes acting so strangely? So I have a bunch of blue pieces of evidence. Observations, documents, and testimonies. So let's start with observations. Mr. Barnes, the newsboy, and the book. No. Okay, so when it doesn't lead to anything, they disappear? Okay, so maybe we can go by elimination. Dead flowers on display. Miss Fleming on Barnes. So the dead flowers have nothing to do with the cactus spine. So I don't think it's that. Cryptology books, don't think it's that. Cracked pot has to do with the cactus. Roses for sale. And maybe he's hoping that she can suggest some roses to replace his pot. No. Oh wait, dead flowers on display, so it's green now. Okay. Okay, so we can go by elimination. Mr. Barnes loves Mrs. Fleming. Oh, really? Barnes displays a bouquet of dead flowers to attract the attention of Miss Fleming, a florist. He may hope she will come into his shop and give him watering advice, or it could simply be a symbol of his desperation. Barnes anonymously gifted her a cactus, which he ordered from the catalog on his counter, a questionable choice, but for Barnes, a symbol of his eternal love since the catalog presents these cacti as immortal. Oof, that's coming off really strong. Plainly, this is the same cactus he dropped on the Strand outside 221B Baker Street. Now to hear the full story. Very bizarre. Okay.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
Should I pin something else? Like this, for example? Why is it our business that Mr. Barnes loves Miss Fleming? Mr. Barnes? And why would he hide in his office?
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
My paper was ruined. I mean... Sure.
I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled. You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer.
He's reading him.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured, we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus and your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
I know what to do?
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman.
Well,
What
that's
is the
good
worst
advice.
that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper.
Got a trophy. Okay. The Strand. Explosion rocks docks. Locals at the Port of London had a rude awakening last night, with loud bangs and thick red smoke disturbing the peace. Merchant ship Moskva had docked at Pier N3 in the early evening en route to Europe when it was rocked by several concussive explosions. The Port Authority is yet to comment on the incident, and it is unknown if any crew members were on board at the time. Eyewitnesses report seeing saltpeter leaking into the river, but with the area still off limits to workers and the public, it may be some time before we have a full account of what transpired.
Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put
So
this
there
matter
was an
behind us.
explosion.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
Of course. I'm happy to help.
let me know if there's any way I can make it up to you. Tell you what, tomorrow's edition of The Strand is on me.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Okay. Let's unpin this. And let's pin this one. The explosion on Pier 3.
I'm sure Barnes has had enough of our meddling, Mr. Holmes. We'd best be off.
Sure. I agree. Is there anything else here? Wait, did it not pin? Okay.
Okay, not just tomorrow. A whole week's worth. How does that sound?
Okay. Let's exit.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But
It's brilliant. Let's go.
oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come.
Stenwick's Mansion. Okay. Not sure where it is. Gaslight.
Not much further now.
Okay, so we're in the right direction. Stenwick's Manor. Ooh.
Stenwick is just down the street from Barnes's bookshop.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles. And it's my superiors who made this decision, sir.
Why won't you investigate?
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick.
Other missing people?
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me. I shall need your written testimony. Then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
Can you describe Kimihia?
Tell me about Kimahia.
He's foreign. A Maori. All the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen, and as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English. Never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
When did Kimihia vanish?
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
Where does he
May I
live?
see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
His shack?
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
Had he run away before?
I take it this is the first time Kimahia has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
You rescued him? Why would he run away?
Is there any reason Kimahia may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Ew. Did he steal anything?
Did Kimahia make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person.
No. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
All right, Captain.
You're keeping his wages?
We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
And you give him only cabbage? And you wondering why he ran away? I mean... Come on. Okay. Let's... What is that? where does Kimihia's trail lead? I mean, we have to gather evidence. Okay, so what should we pin? Stenwick's mention. Let's pin this one. Captain Stenwick's testimony. Can we ask you more questions?
Still here?
Oh, I guess not.
Stenwick makes his servant live in a tool shed. You think you know someone.
Exactly. Gives him only cabbage and keeps his wages? Let's look for some clues. Is there anything here? No. What is that?
Chewing tobacco.
Chewing tobacco.
A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots.
We can rotate. I'm surprised this is nothing. Oh. Knee print?
Looks like a knee print. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To read the ground like an open book.
With enough clues, Sherlock can use imagination to reconstruct the past. See imagination nodes. Interact with nodes to begin, then recreate an accurate version of events. Interact with nodes. How? How can I interact with it? Huh? Wait. We found footprints, we found chewing tobacco. Did I find a new outfit? Ooh. Very nice, very nice. Okay. So, concentration. Press to activate concentration. A wavy green circle indicates a point of interest and hints that you should concentrate. While using concentration, wait for Sherlock to notice details about the object. Ah! In the case book, this icon on a piece of evidence indicates that you need to use concentration. Oh, okay. It's often paired with the pinned evidence requirement. See if there's such an icon beside the concentration icon in the casebook. So a pin and an eye. But I don't see anything. Maybe this? Are there... Maybe I can find something else? Let's keep looking.
Do you think Kimmy here had an accomplice in his escape?
Maybe. Concentration helps you pick up smaller details about the world. When you see a wave. I don't see anything. Parallel tracks.
Could have left these tracks. They seem fresh.
Okay.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
A lock with an unusual keyhole. Oh wait, there's a key there. Can't do anything with it.
A scrap of Hessian.
Hessian?
These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them.
What did I find? Trail. I found a trail and I found a lock. Let's pin this one. There's a face. Isn't that a face?
Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here.
Exactly. I'm missing something. Huh. Should I pin something else? Maybe this? No. Okay. Let's keep looking.
Clothes made of Hessian. Is Stenwick really so miserly?
What is that? A flute? Looks like an instrument.
A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called. Button chops. The remains of a meal.
What is that?
A heavy chemical odor. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
Ah, I'll never forget that smell after my time in Afghanistan. That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, a narcotic.
The ashes are long since cold.
What did we find?
No air coming through it. No air coming through it. Is this a Tanifar, a Maori water spirit, or something else?
Either way, it's giving me chills.
We missed a clue though. Let's keep looking. Oh, I found a second node. Did I miss anything here? Oh! Yes. I snapped my fingers? Interesting. Okay. So maybe I missed something here. What is he doing? Okay. Let's keep looking. There was something here. Oh wait! I see more and more nodes. Parallel tracks, grass doesn't grow here. Often used. Okay. And here?
Someone moved a cart to this spot and then took it elsewhere. Can't see it anywhere in the garden. The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney.
Why would they do that? So he was pushing the cart. Okay. Ah. Okay.
A small Navy spyglass.
Okay. So he fell? Okay. I think I found everything. I don't think I can interact with this thing. No. But it says I have 5 nodes. And did we find anything with that? Oh. Unusual form and bent to the left. Okay, so I think we found everything. Seems like it. Very bizarre. Let's go back to Captain Stenwick. Nope. No. Something vibrated, so I'm not sure. I shall provide evidence. I found a lock with an unusual
The door to
keyhole.
your garden has an interesting lock.
Yes, I have uncommon locks on every door of my mansion. It makes them harder to pick. Kimmy here and I both had a set of keys.
I'll need to borrow them.
No, you'll need to do what I tell you to do. Examine the garden.
Do you want me to find Kimihia or not? I found Kimihia's shack.
Where are you going with this?
Well, a spyglass.
Is this spyglass familiar?
I don't recognize it.
Could it be Kimihia's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I never saw him with it, nor could I suggest how he might have come by it.
Weird. Cloth in the chimney.
Are you joking? Why would I know this?
Well, you're dressing him, so... Trail in Captain Stenwig's garden.
Where are you going with this?
Clothes made of Hessian.
I came across a pile of Hessian clothes in the shack. Are they Kimihia's?
Yes. I had to give him something to clothe himself. He seemed unfazed by his bare skin, but I found it distracting.
Did you? Clues in...
Where on earth are you going with this?
Footprints.
Do you happen to know Kimihia's shoe size?
I wouldn't have the foggiest. But I'm sure it was enormous. Not that it matters. He spent his life barefoot. Despite my best efforts, he simply did not take to shoes.
That's... okay. Chewing tobacco remnants.
Has Kimihia ever indulged in tobacco?
No, the man doesn't even drink.
Are you certain? I found chewing tobacco in the garden.
I controlled Kimihia's expenses since he struggled with the currency. I would have known if he used tobacco.
4 evidence updated. So we found Kimihia's clothes. The spyglass appears to be someone else's. The key... okay. It's not much, but it's something.
If you find my man, I have a marvelous whiskey with your name on it.
Okay. Maybe we missed something. Ah! Okay. So there's chewing tobacco here. And it's not Kimiha's. And they have a large foot and a spyglass. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So, here... wait, where's the second one? This? So... okay. So, Kimiha was eating, and then someone put a cloth. Very bizarre. Kimiha was pushing his little buggy thing. Was it someone else? Really? It's possible. I think they're not in order. So, Kimiha was probably startled. He fell. Hit his head. And got dragged by mannequin number 1. And then yeah. Ah, okay, I see. So I have to validate. Ah, okay. So we have to validate the correct scenario. So I don't think it was Kimiha. I think this guy was spying on Kimiha.
Surveilling from afar, the intruder waited for a window of opportunity. When Kimihia went to sleep, the man crept up to the shack and slipped narcotics down the chimney pipe, then blocked it with a cloth. Kimihia inhaled the sedative and fell into a deep sleep. The intruder tried to move him, but the man was heavier than expected. The intruder fell on the sack and dropped his spyglass. In order to transport the servant, he had to use the cart. The final challenge was opening the garden door. Luckily for our intruder, Kimihia had the key in his shack.
Exactly.
It makes total sense.
Right? That's exactly what happened. Let's talk to...
You'd best have found something by now, gentlemen.
Excuse me. Someone had eyes on Kimihia.
I fear that someone may have spied upon Kimihia. Likely the owner of the spyglass I found earlier. It appears they were watching for some time, as there was an impressive amount of chewing tobacco on the ground.
And your point?
Well, Kimihia was intoxicated.
I found the residue of narcotics in Kimihia's brazier. There are several explanations, perhaps your servant's recreational interest, or an attempt at poisoning.
Cut to the chase, Mr. Holmes.
You said that you checked the shack earlier. Did you notice the cart tracks near it? Now, one ought to expect a servant to make regular use of such a thing. Indeed, I would have overlooked the detail were it not for the cart's absence. If, as you say, Kimihia never leaves your estate, then where did it go?
I expect answers from you, Mr. Holmes, not questions.
I'm almost finished.
I won't keep you in suspense any longer, Captain. Kimihia was abducted by the owner of the spyglass. When your servant fell asleep, he slipped a narcotic into Kimihia's brazier to make him sleep even more soundly. In order to carry a man as large as Kimihia, the intruder stole the cart and rolled him right out of your garden.
Now, hold on. All this simply to tell me what I already know. Why haven't you found him yet?
I only arrived a moment ago. It is, frankly, incredible that I have already deduced so much.
Every second you dawdle here, waiting for me to stroke your ego, is another second wasted. I'm not interested in the how, the why, or the who. I am only interested in recovering my investment. Spare me the claptrap, boy, and go and fetch my servant.
I shall remain stoic and silent.
The point is, Captain, we're telling you this for a reason. The intruder fled through the garden door, and we need a key to follow his trail.
Well, then you should have led with that. Here you go. I hope you'll return soon with good news. And in the meantime, please teach your companion the art of brevity.
How rude. And thank you, Watson. Now come with me. That's an interesting bicycle. Aha. The cart.
Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair. Wheels picked up grass along the way. Kimahia's cart, I gather.
Looks like it. And what else? Is there... Oh, oh, oh.
Roy Soulsby. Could that be the name of our man?
What a lousy kidnapper.
A strange substance. I have my suspicions based on the color and consistency, but would you care to hazard a guess, Doctor?
Well, it's odorless, but from the way it absorbs water, I'd say saltpeter.
Then we're in agreement. Well done.
Interesting. Is there anything else? Oh.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I'm really sorry, but I can't help you. Try asking someone else.
So we found a calling card, a wallet, a sailor's knot. So maybe a wallet and the trail? No. Maybe a sailor's knot? And the trail? Ah. Aha. Kimi. A particular knot, a spyglass, and the footprints of a working man's boots. They all add up to the one conclusion. Kimahia's abductor is a sailor. Where does it lead? Well, there's saltpeter. Oh. Maybe his abduction? No. Maybe the abductor is a sailor? Aha! All evidence points to the port of London. We know that Kimahia's kidnapper is most likely a sailor, that his wallet bears saltpeter residue, and that there was a recent accident in the port of London. Everything suggests that to find Kimahia, we must head to the port of London. There's no time to lose. Great. Abductor is a sailor.
The Strand proved not so useless after all. The saltpeter accident, Doctor, do you recall?
The Port of London, of course. The footwear, the spyglass.
Indeed. We shall need to take a cab there.
A cab. Okay. Sir? You cannot return after leaving. Let's depart.
The Port of London, please. I will show you where to stop.
Chapter 2, The Blood Red Knight.
Mr. Holmes, what a compelling mystery we have stumbled upon. Perhaps I have the premise. of my next novel.
Huh. One kidnapping does not a story make.
Stop! A black cat crossed before us. It's a bad omen.
I do not take you for the superstitious type, Doctor. Such things are mere fantasies, tricks of a feeble mind. One imagines a physician would keep a surer footing in reality.
Perhaps. Before the war, my time abroad was difficult. Once, I came across an Afghan, bleeding, who I could not save. He pressed a rosary into my hand. A gift, he said, so as to gain God's favor. After that...
Dr. Watson?
Yes, well, I shan't get into details, but sometime later I found myself lost in the desert. Dehydration set in, and things grew ever more dire. The man's words came to me. I said a prayer and placed the rosary on a rock. A gift to gain God's favor.
And you were rescued?
Yes. A detachment of British soldiers found me.
To whom I'm grateful. Without their diligence, you would not be standing here and I would not have this case.
I'm sure you have another explanation prepared, Mr. Holmes, but I think I shall cling to the occasional superstition all the same.
To each his own, Dr. Watson. So long as it does not interfere with my methods, do it. We must press on, cat or no cat. The question remains, why abduct Kimahir?
The Cursed Mermaid. Okay. Chapter 2. That was fun, and the story's really interesting so far. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.